Well, here we are, 46 league games, a playoff, two-legged semi-final, and we're finally here for the season finale. It's the richest game in football. It's time for the playoff final. McNairs, this is good build-up play. Paddy McNairs, what a cross. Apparently it was blocked by Miyoshi. Initial bit of pressure, but we're here again. Another in-swinger, Paddy McNairs. Plays it in, a Dael and had it saved. Oh, what a chance. What a chance. Lenihan heads it straight to John Ruddy, and the rebound he doesn't quite get hold of either. But I don't want to rue these missed chances. Bangura. It's in. It's off the bar. How has that not gone in? Haji Jones has headed the ball. Oh, it's hit the bar. It's hit the bar. But it didn't cross the line. Oh, Dembele's in behind here. Dembele squares it. It's in the box, and Shaw Tyre gives Birmingham the lead. I knew it. I just knew it. We'd had shots on goal. We'd had it off the bar. It bounced on the goal line. And Birmingham's first highlight results in a goal. He's got the entire left-hand side. He's kept going. McGree doesn't get the tackle. Oh, that could be it. Fry wins it, and that's the whistle. Birmingham City are promoted to the Premier League. Shame it didn't end the way we wanted it to, but yeah, we had a really good ride nevertheless, and we will be back in a few days' time. Take care, guys. See you all next time. Up the Boro. Should we keep going?
As the Uruguayan curls one in. Oh, Middlesbrough take the lead!
What is up, guys? Matthew here, and we are back. We couldn't resist. We had such fun in the first season in the beta save with the Boro, and we got so almighty close. We lost in the playoff final to Birmingham, and we were going to call it quits. We were going to move on to our Road to Glory save, which has begun, by the way, on the channel, so if you want to check that out too, please do. But I saw plenty of comments from you guys saying, I wish there'd be a season 2, can you keep going? And we are. We're gonna keep going with Project Boro. The project is not done yet, and we will move on into season 2, and we will keep trying until we get Boro into the Premier League. And hell, if we get Boro at the Premier League, we might try and get them to stay there, and then we might look ahead to maybe progressing in the toughest league or the biggest league in the world. So, in terms of what happened since the playoff final, we did all of the season review and everything like that in the last episode. We have got a squad planner which will allow us to look at potential additions going into next season, and I think we're pretty strong all over the park in terms of strength and depth. I honestly feel like it's just maybe bringing in players who are just better, who give more competition. I think goalkeeping wise, we've got Seny Dieng, who I think is perfectly, in fact we'll go up here and do the squad plan, it's easier. So we've got Seny Dieng. He is by far number 1 goalkeeper, best goalkeeper I think we could ask for the style of play. He's going to stay with us. I think centre back wise, we've got Dael Fry, he'll be staying. Rav Vandenberg is an upcoming player who might play more of a part this season. Paddy McNairs is an interesting one because his contract's up, but he's 29. So I don't feel like it's worth giving Paddy McNairs another deal. I think we will let him leave on a free, if I'm honest. Courtney House, of course, will return to Aston Villa. He did well. Whether we opt to bring him back or not, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think Dael Fry and Rav are certainly in our plans. We'll have to monitor the Dael Fry situation. I'd still love to keep him, but he is wanted by Everton, Leicester and Norwich, and we'll get on to why we might have to sell one of our big players very shortly. Left back, we're absolutely fine. Bangura was our best player last season. Engel is more than a good enough replacement, so maybe we just need to bring in a third backup there in case we have a bit of an injury crisis. Midfield, as you guys know, we've had a lot of success in midfield this season, rotating around Johnny Howson, Hayden Hackney, Lewis O'Brien and Dan Barlasser, although Johnny Howson is getting on a little bit. He's actually wanted by Stoke. He's 36 and Stoke want to buy him. I think that says all about Stoke's transfer situation, to be honest with you. But yeah, Johnny Howson, I don't know how long's left on his contract actually. So yeah, Johnny Howson is due to leave as well actually. So in terms of that, I think it's probably worth us having a look at the players who we're already on there. Players who are going to be leaving. So obviously Greenwood's going to be going back. I would like to make O'Brien's loan a permanent deal. So I'm going to add him to my shortlist. He could be a priority. Howson and Paddy are leaving. 2 goalkeepers who've not even been in our plans are leaving too. Daka and House are going back to their clubs as well. So the squad really isn't changing. We're losing our loan players, which is natural. And Johnny Howson and Paddy McNairs look like they're leaving. So yeah, central midfield, definitely I think we should bring in possibly Lewis O'Brien again or someone else. And that goes for the 2 positions in front, of course. We did play with the 4-3-2-1 initially, but we found this formation more effective. On the left-hand side, I definitely want to see if we can bring in a more naturally left-sided winger. I think Riley McGree did well at times, Morgan Rogers did well at times, but I don't feel like we quite got the most out of that position. Whereas on the right, we've got Isaiah Jones, and I think he could definitely do it with some competition. Lath was kind of competition, but I would rather him be up front. And then up front, of course, we have Marcus Force, and he is still obviously not happy that we didn't offer him a new deal. I feel like ahead of next season, we have to offer him a new deal in the summer. We simply have to keep him with us. He's not wanted by anybody. It doesn't look like we're going to be, selling him on or anything like that. So if we can, I think we should try and offer him a contract whenever we can. We still can't. I'm going to have to just hope and pray that we can get him, signed down to a contract pretty soon. But yeah, we of course brought Pats and Daka in as a bit of competition. He did pretty rubbish. Sam Greenwood didn't do much. So yeah, I think in terms of where we want to go with the squad, I think we definitely need a centre-back, centre midfield, left wing and maybe a striker, a bit of everything. And I don't know if I looked at right back, but Tommy Smith is getting on a little bit. I think it could become Dijksteel's position this season. But again, depending on how we get on centre-back, Rav can either play there or we bring in a naturally sided right back. So we will have to get the scouts looking for that. Obviously, a lot of stuff that we might have seen in the last episode in that Force won the Golden Boot. He was in Player of the Year. This is a bit worrying though. The board have set an initial wage budget of 550k, but only a transfer budget of 1.8 million. Now I'm hoping they might come back and give us a little bit more at the start of the season, but that's not ideal. We are committed to spending only 440 and our net spend, our current spend is only 533, so it doesn't give us much room at all to do much at all. It's quite disappointing. I mean, I don't know who the hell we can buy who would improve the squad as little as 1.8 million. So I'm hoping come a few months they might look at, when they give us our objectives, they might then give us more money to basically say if we want to achieve our expectations, we're going to give you more money. So I'm hoping that's based off of this season and what we've done, and we'll get a bit more going into next season. But yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. I'm going to get the scouts ready to look in the positions we need, and then we'll just fire through the summer and see what else comes up. And once we're back from the summer break, we can start looking at players and hopefully improving this squad and looking ahead to pre-season. So we have got a meeting with the board to discuss the long-term vision both for next season and the years to come. So let's see what this is all about. So they want to continue to use the club's youth system. I wouldn't say they've gave me any players to do that so far, if I'm honest. Sign players under the age of 23 for the first team, so that's definitely something we need to keep an eye on. Something new, we've added this as we feel it makes good business sense for the club. Okay, so is that Oh, to sign young players for the first team. Okay, so that's something new they've added. Yeah, I probably wouldn't want to sign players yet less than 28. Obviously, they're wanting to go even lower with 23. So maybe that's why we've got such a rubbish budget. We're going to have to maybe look at League One or something and see who we can get from League One. That is what Boro have been doing in real life, to be fair. Looking at the lower leagues and getting 1 or 2 loans, but not relying on loans, which I think we've done a lot in the past. Work within the budget, of course, and growing the club's reputation as a new one as well, which hopefully we'll just do naturally. They also have added that maximum 1-year contracts for players over the age of 33. Couldn't agree more with that. And maximum of 2-year contracts over the ages of players who are over 31. Interesting. And minimum of 2-year contracts for first team players. So every player we sign for the first team has to be here for at least 2 years, which I think we'd do anyway. None of that seems outlandish to me. Of course, our contract's up at the end of this season, and they want to work towards having the best youth system in the Championship. So we might have to look at maybe staff or facilities or something along them lines. And at the end of next season, so not the season we've got coming, the one after that, they want to win promotion to the Premier League. So that is something we have to definitely look at this time next season, going into the following season. It is weird though that after that it drops to work towards gaining automatic promotion. I don't quite know why that steps backwards, but yeah, it's all about promotion, as we very well would expect. And I'm happy with that. I'm more than happy with that. And dressing room atmosphere is down slightly, but we've rescued the scenario from pretty much where it was. It is worth noting though we've lost 2 team leaders in Howson and McNairs, so that's why I'm a bit concerned about Fry being sold as well, because then we'll have a lack of leaders in the group. So that's something to definitely keep an eye on. End of season meeting, so let's have a chat with the players. So it'd be good for us to all have a chance to air our thoughts. So let's talk about our aims next season. So Lenihan says, I'm confident we can show everyone what we're made of and put together a strong campaign. I agree completely. I think we should maybe look at playoffs again. It depends on who comes down, as always, with the parachute teams. But same level of ambition, or do we step up? Champions, I don't think is a realistic one, to be fair. Automatic promotion-y as well. Let's go playoffs. And they're satisfied. They're all happy that's a target they can get behind, which is great. I'm not bothered about promises. Do we have anything else to talk about? Focus on the club, fulfilling the club's vision. So, is there anything here? Off-season, we'll be looking to bring in some new faces into the squad that fit the club's objectives. Competition for places will be tougher. I want to thank you all for your efforts this season. I want to know that when you return for pre-season training, our collective efforts will be going towards whatever it takes to boost the club's profile. Yeah, well, let's go with that. And a few of them have been let down by that. Well, okay. Lenihan and Dieng. Not too happy with that. It's a bit of a shame. But we'll leave it there. I wish I'd have left it now. But, most of the players have took that relatively well. Force is still expressionless. When's he going to get off the grumpy step? When's he going to start being a little bit more positive, I wonder? Interesting there that Bangura's been suggested to be pushed up. He, of course, was very effective at left-back. Very creative. Maybe we've already got a left winger on our hands. Engel can become the starting left-back. We will then need another left-back, though. That's definitely something to keep note of. So we've had a change of heart. We were proposed by some of the staff when we were given the contracts of the players who are of course looking to leave. Johnny Howson is one, among a few others who are set for release. And I just thought I'll ask Paddy McNairs' agent what he would like. And he was on, I think, 25, and they said he'd be willing to go up to 30.5 to 32, and I thought, I could do that. And I looked at Paddy, and he's 29, and I feel like we can probably get one more contract out of him. He's 3.5 stars at this level, and I think that's very good. And when we brought him in at the end of last season and sat him in front of the back three, or had him as the more defensive midfielder, he was good. He was very good, and he can also slot in to centre-back as well if we happen to have an injury crisis there. So I just thought he was very good for the standard required in his position, but he's also very versatile. So I thought, you know what, I'll change my mind. And at the very, very, very last minute, we signed Paddy McNairs. So he is committed to staying at Middlesbrough Football Club. And we also lined up a few targets. Now, one thing worth mentioning is we did last season lose more than the allocated £15 million, I think it was, for financial fair play. We'd lost 23 million. So that might explain why we were slightly behind, or we were under the loss. It says that we're fine now. I don't know if Steve Gibson has injected some cash in to sort that out, but that might explain why the transfer budget isn't as hefty as we'd hope. But we have got a few players on the shortlist who are free transfers who I really like the look of. So one player that I've looked at for a long time and I want on loan, there's so many Championship clubs who are looking at him, but it's Facundo Pellistri. And I think having him on loan from Manchester United to compete with Isaiah Jones on the right, I think could be absolutely awesome. He's 22, so he's obviously under the 23 age that we've been told to sign players with. So I think although we might face hefty competition, I think Facundo Pellistri could be a fantastic loan signing for us. As well as that, there are a few others who are free transfers. Let me see if I can filter them for you. So Scott McKenna is being let go by Blackburn Rovers, and he's wanted by a lot of teams. But he's going to be on a free, and he's only on £7,500 a week. He's 3.5 stars, centre-back. I'm sure he's also quite a good ball-playing centre-back as well. So he's someone I think we'd like to bring in. He is 27, so he's not of the age. But listen, we can't just stick to signing all young players. I think he's definitely someone we should look to bring in. Of course, we had Courtney House last season on loan. Dael Fry might be leaving. Darragh Lenihan is there. We need a bit of depth in there. So we've got him. Nathan Ferguson is also another one. He's a full-back who could fill in at right-back. Of course, we've got Dyke still there. Vandenberg's not a natural right-back, I would say. Tommy Smith's getting on a bit. So a fringe player at Crystal Palace. 3 stars, potentially. He's someone who we could get at the end of his contract. There's loads of free players who we can look at. There's a couple of players. So we've got Bruno Jordao, who is an advanced playmaker who does play a little bit further back from the number 10. So he could be a more advanced central midfielder. Portuguese, 25 years old. He's on loan from Wolves, out of contract. Someone else we could look at. This was a really interesting one. Pablo Fornals is being let go by Leicester. Now, although he's 28, he was absolutely incredible when he was playing for West Ham. And if we went back to the 4-2-3-1 that we started with, and having him as the number 10 at Championship level, I think for the next season or two, he honestly could be the difference. I mean, he's a fantastic player. His passing stats, tackling, he's fantastic. So he's a freebie who I might pounce on. We've also got someone called Anderson Arroyo. He's on loan from Liverpool, another wing back. Also can play naturally on the left, and he is left-footed as well. So if we want a little bit of depth at left back, which we do need, I think if we're going to push Bangura forward, then he's definitely someone we should look to bring in. There's also Brandon Williams, of course, who's done exceptionally well at Ipswich in real life. He could be another fantastic option at left back. Again, he's wanted by pretty much everybody at the end of his contract. So plenty of options at full-back, centre-back and centre-attacking midfield. Bringing McNair back in gives us an extra body in the centre of midfield. The only area I still think we're lacking a bit is up front in the striker position. It all depends on what happens with Marcus Forss. There is also interest in Emmanuel Latte Lath as well. He's getting interest from Espanyol, I believe. So there could potentially be some money that comes in for Emmanuel Latte Lath. So yeah, he's wanted by Espanyol at the moment. Oh no, Watford actually. The reports were Espanyol, but Watford might also be in for him as well. So we've got our eye on quite a few players. Transfer window's going to be opening soon, so we might be making signings a lot earlier than anticipated. Now then, we have an offer for Isaiah Jones. We did get originally a loan offer from Birmingham, which I thought was a little bit ridiculous, to be honest, that they want to loan him. But they have come back with a full-on transfer fee. We did say we wanted 16.5 million. They've come back with 12.5. I want to kind of wait and see where we're at currently, as we have chucked an offer in for Facundo Pellistri on loan, who I guess will take Isaiah's position for the time being, and we can then use the money to reinvest. But I don't want to be without a right winger, so I am wanting to see what comes of Pellistri. I think we're the only team who've put a bid in for him as it stands. We're going to just stall it for a bit, and hopefully if Pellistri comes through the door, we might let Isaiah Jones go. Well, Scott McKenna, who we were targeting, has been offered a contract at Sheffield United. That was, of course, very much depending on what happened with Dael Fry. Nothing in for him as yet. We've obviously got Daryl Enahan as well in there. Rav Vandenberg is someone else we want to bring in. I would have liked Scott McKenna, I'm not going to lie, as an added option. I don't know if it's worth us just dropping an offer in just to make them think. Can we bring him down any further to I don't even want to really pay 32k for him either, because that's just way too high, and I don't think the board would be particularly happy with that. So we'll drop 32k in there. 33.5. 32. He's now accepted it. Wow. We'll leave that there. So, first signing is through the door. Nathan Ferguson has agreed to sign, and he rejected the offer from Aberdeen. He's going to come in as an option at right back, so that bolsters us in that position. Of course, Brandon Williams is someone else we're looking to bring in. Hopefully he can give us cover on the left back, where we are looking a little bit more sketchy. But yeah, our first signing of the season is through the door. Nathan Ferguson in from Crystal Palace, and yeah, he will provide us with plenty of cover all across the back four. Well, this could be big. We have managed to fend off a huge number of clubs to bring in the Manchester United winger Facundo Pellistri. He is an extremely exciting talent, extremely quick, very good dribbler. He's pacey. I think he could cause absolute chaos down the right hand side, and yeah, he's a very, very exciting talent. Uruguayan, and yeah, he had interest from all over the place. You can see the list of clubs that wanted him: Blackburn, Ipswich, Leicester, Norwich, who've just been promoted, Southampton, West Brom, West Ham, Celtic. But he's opting to come to Middlesbrough, so that's a fantastic signing. Pellistri's through the door, which then enables us to go back to the Isaiah Jones deal. And, well, there's two offers on the table. Birmingham is a loan. In fact, then they followed it up, didn't they, with the 12.5 million. And we're going to remain strong and say that if you want Isaiah Jones, we'll drop it slightly to 16 million, but that's in and around the ballpark of what we think he's worth. So, two signings through the door, and we might be about to get a huge wad of cash from Birmingham City. A blow, though, at fullback. We were looking at Brandon Williams. He would have been a fantastic signing as well. Very, very, he can play, very adaptable, right back, left back, anywhere across the back line. Unfortunately, he's opted to go to Celtic, and I mean, they're offering him 50 grand a week. We would never, ever have gotten close to that. So that's a bit of a blow that we've lost out on him, and the hunt for a left back goes on. Well, Birmingham have rejected it. They are not willing to pay the money that we asked for in terms of the 60 million bid for Isaiah Jones. So as it stands, he's not going anywhere, but I have a feeling that's not the end of the Isaiah Jones saga. I have a feeling there are going to be plenty of bids coming through the door. Leeds and Norwich are also interested. Season expectations here from Steve Gibson. So reaching the playoffs minimum is all we've got in terms of the championship. FA Cup third round is what he's kind of looking at the moment. We can push for the fourth round and get a little bit more wage budget, which is, it's 10 grand a week, and we had such a good run in the FA Cup last year, so I'm going to push that forward to the fourth round. I think we can do that. That's winning one game, so I'm happy to do that. And then Carabao Cup, reach the first round, which we'll be doing anyway. So let's say we're going to reach the second round, which again is winning a game, and our wage budget goes up even further to 603k. So I think that will just get us a little bit of money. But as things stand, no updates as yet. We're keeping an eye on a few options and waiting mostly to see if anything happens with Isaiah Jones or Dael Fry. But yeah, we've got plenty of room, plenty of options at the moment. We've also been offered by an intermediary. We were offered Haji Wright from Coventry. Now, of course, Coventry had an absolutely horrendous season last year in the Championship and relegated in awful circumstances. And Haji Wright looks like he could provide real competition up front for Isaiah Jones, for Marcus Forss. And if we were to sell one of our big players like Isaiah and get quite a bit of money for him, I reckon we could go in and buy a player like Haji Wright. And he offers us something a little bit different to what Forss does. So he can play on the wing as well as playing up front. And he likes to be the centre of a three-man group, which works when we've got wingers. He's a complete forward who can do a bit of everything. He's quick and he's also very good in the air and very strong. He could be a bit of a beast. So that is something we're monitoring if a big offer comes in for one of our players. Well, we have got an offer in from Leicester and we've just had to delay the McKenna transfer once again in case this was to happen, and it's happened. Elsewhere though, we have just made another signing. Anderson Arroyo has come in from Liverpool on £16,000 a week. Obviously we wanted a bit of depth, and albeit it does have him as a natural right-sided fullback, we're going to have him more so on the left, and he's definitely going to be, used for cover for Lucas Engel essentially, as Bangura is going to be pushed a bit further forward this season. So what we're going to do is we are going to bring Arroyo in, and he's going to compete with Lucas Engel for the left back spot where we desperately need depth. So we'll welcome him into the club. As for Dael Fry, well, Leicester have offered 10 million when in fact, 13.2 million. The initial fee is 10 million, and he's been here a long old time as Dael Fry, and is it now time that he moves on and we cash in on a youth prodigy who has been at the club for such a long time and has done such great things for us, and we then can use that money to bring in, I don't know how many players. We certainly can we can improve so much if we were to accept this offer. We'd then have to instantly bring Scott McKenna in. Undoubtedly doesn't change our position. He can be alongside Darragh Lenihan instead of Dael Fry. So they're willing to pay the rest in instalments. They're still a couple of £1 million short though, so I'm going to say we'd like 13 million up front, and the other 3.2, which would take them to 16 million, we'll be happy. So we'll say yes to that and await what they say. Hopefully they get back to us pretty quickly, because I feel like we won't be able to delay McKenna's signing for much longer. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. Meanwhile, Isaiah Jones has got injured, so I don't know if that'll impact his possible potential transfers, ins and outs. But we're going to see what happens with Dael Fry, and if that goes through, then we're going to have to jump on McKenna pretty quickly. And Leicester are back, and I think they're willing to match what we've asked. The transfer would rise to 19 million, and they've said yes to what we asked for, so I think we're going to do it. We're going to accept that. Dael Fry is going to be off to Leicester as things stand, and that will hopefully give us the money to really improve elsewhere. As I say, Boro like to sell one star player every season, and that might be the star player that we're going to get rid of to help us bolster in other positions. So we'll see what comes of that. Well, it looks like Dael Fry is off. The Leicester deal has gone through. Dael Fry has agreed that he wants to go there, and his long stint at the Boro has come to an end. He's been an absolutely tremendous servant for the club since he broke through all them years ago, and has become pretty much a stalemate at the club. But it is time for him to move on. We're getting 8.75 million of the transfer budget, so even though it will rise to a total of 19 million, I think we're getting 13 up front. We're getting 8.75 of it, which is all right, I think, and that will give us around about that much to spend, and we've still got so much room within the wage budget as well. That, I think, will allow us to put some money into some pretty big players, and I've already got a few that I've got in mind, but we are going to wish Dael Fry well, and I'm going to make a parting comment because he's been outstanding for the club. He's a team leader as well, let's not forget. You've been a fantastic servant, and it's time he leaves, and here's hoping he does well for Leicester City, just not when he plays against us. And Hayden Hackney doesn't seem himself at the minute. Something's got him down. Maybe it's him wanting a new contract. Well, let's see what Hackney says. What's up? I feel I deserve a new contract to reflect that I'm a much better player than I am. You know what? I think, and we're going to learn from what happened previously with Hayden Hackney. What happened with Force, sorry. Hackney is definitely someone who I think is deserving of a new contract. He's broke through the team. I don't know if we can view... Can we not view Hayden Hackney? So at the minute he's on 30.5 or just under £30,500 a week. And he's only just signed it last season, to be fair, but he has become one of the most important players in the team. And take out the appearance fee, but we'll add a bonus for assists. And for every assist that he gets, 18k? Is that excessive for every assist? They're happy with that. Maybe we've been a little bit lenient there out here in Hackney, but we've got the room, so that is exciting. I'll tell you what else is exciting. This could be a striking signing that has come out of the blue. Anthony Martial. Anthony Martial has been released by Manchester United. He's available on a free. Yes, he's probably been a letdown at Manchester United, but Anthony Martial dropping down into the Championship, I think, at 28 is a bit of a cheat code, I think. He is on 48 grand a week, so he is by far one of our most expensive players. He is going to be a star as soon as he comes in, as you'd expect. But with the situation with Marcus Force, can we have faith that he is going to be constantly happy, up for playing, or is he looking like his time at Middlesbrough is done? Is there any going back for Marcus Force? Well, if not, Martial is a player we've brought in. Now, we have brought him in on a lot of money. There are certain bonuses that we've dropped in there, as well as a non-promotion release clause, which will guarantee us 19 million. But to be fair, we've signed him for free. So if we don't go up, we get 19 million for him, which I think is pretty exciting. So Anthony Martial is going to join Middlesbrough Football Club, which is a deal and is something I never thought I would say. But with the money we've made from the sale of Dael Fry and the wage budget we've already got available to us, that is a signing that we can make. He's 4 stars, so he's going to be one of the best strikers in the league. He's not going to improve, of course, but I think he could be someone who could help us take that next step to promotion and really could be the game changer. So Anthony Martial, welcome to the Boro. He is officially our 4th signing of the summer. And all of a sudden we are right back round to Scott McKenna, and we can finally, after weeks and weeks of holding it off, put that deal through as well, and he will come in to essentially replace Dael Fry, another player who we've signed on a free. He's 3.5 stars at the minute. He can still have the potential to increase to a 4-star, decent Premier League player, so I think that is another pretty good signing. I think he's not as young as Dael Fry, maybe doesn't have the sell-on value as well, but that also instantly rectifies the promise that Anthony Martial had in his contract that we promised him, which was to strengthen the defence. We've done that already, which means that Anthony Martial has come in a happy boy, which is even better for us. So currently, this is a little look at how the club feel about things at the moment. So the only concern they've got is actually the finances of selling Dael Fry. They're happy with the finances for McKenna, Pellistri, Arroyo. They were also happy with the deal to bring in Martial, which I was surprised by as well. So all is good for now. We're bringing in some pretty exciting talent, and we've still got money to spend. So going back to the gap we have and the hole we have in midfield, Flynn Downs, one of the most exciting upcoming defensive midfielders, is once again being put on loan from West Ham. And looking at our squad planner, that is the area where we are looking at our weakest. Right back, slightly weak, but I think in terms of, first team players, everywhere else is looking relatively strong at the moment. But I think defensive midfield, we are definitely needing some more bodies, given the fact that essentially, if you need 2 players for every position, we need 6 midfielders, you could argue. We've only got 4. And we could still maybe possibly bring in Lewis O'Brien back. in terms of buying him. But yeah, Flynn Downs is someone we can only afford in terms of loaning him, but he's loan listed, which is good. West Ham are wanting a monthly playing fee and unused fee, which isn't ideal. It will mean the loan will cost up to 3.4 million over the year, and we are having to pay his full wage. But we're going to suggest that and see if we can get him on loan at the club, because yeah, he's been a very good player. As you can see, he had a great season on loan last season at Southampton, so to get him in I think would be another really exciting signing. But essentially, so far, if you look at our transfers going into last season, we brought in a free and a loan in Ferguson and Pellistri, and then we've had 3 frees so far as well, so we are still yet to actually put any cash into anybody. We've just sold Dael Fry for an absolute wad, so I am wanting to reinvest this cash. It's just a case of finding out where to invest it and who's best to invest it in. So yeah, that's something we want to definitely keep an eye on, but I think we're making some pretty shrewd signings so far. So some big news within the club itself. Hayden Hackney has signed a new contract, a new 4-year deal, which I think is massive for the club and the dynamics, because essentially he was unhappy that he wasn't getting the contract he thought he deserved, and it upset the majority, if not the entire squad. So we had to act upon that, and thankfully we have done, which has eased his qualms, and we've now nailed him down for a 4-year deal, which is awesome. We have been not pressured, but we were approached to make a potential offer for Coventry City striker Haji Wright, who of course we've been and ahhing on for quite a while. We did drop in a offer of around 7 million, although they want 8.5. The reason why I'm considering it is because he can play on the left hand side, and I feel like a player of his strength and power coming in off the left, cutting inside, we could have goals coming in from that side as well. And if you look at the left, we're going to obviously be bringing Riley McGree into a midfield 3. We've got Bangura, who's being pushed forward. He wasn't even playing at left wing last season, so we might need someone else who's a bit more natural to play there. And of course, if something happens to Martial or Force, he can play up top as well, so he's a bit versatile in that sense. And I just think he's got a bit of everything, especially from set pieces and crosses into the box. I think he could be absolutely lethal. So we might be putting our money into Haji Wright. Obviously there is a few concerns because he got relegated with a very poor Countryside last season, but we're also waiting on the answer from Flynn Downs as well to see what he wants to do. And I think after that, I think we're not too far away. I think we're looking at, central midfield. We'll need another body in there, but you know, you look across, it looks a bit light at left back, but we've got 3 options there who could all play. On the left hand side, Ferguson, Tommy Smith, Dijksteel can all play right back. I think centre backs now back being sorted. Now that we've replaced Dael Fry with Scott McKenna, Darragh Lenihan's in there, I want to start playing Vandenberg and having more faith in him. As well as Dijksteel, who can play there. Paddy McNairs can drop into there as well. He wants to play there actually as a libero, so we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, this is definitely the area where if we do get Flynn Downs, he'll sit nicely in front of the back four, I'd imagine. We've got Hayden Hackney, Riley McGree. I would like another body in there. I think on the right, of course, we're absolutely sorted now. We've brought in Facundo Pellistri. He's going to compete with Isaiah Jones, which is an unbelievably exciting right-hand side. Like Lath can play there too, if he's not playing up front. And then on the left, you've got Rodgers, who did well there last season, and Bangura, but maybe another. And up front, we've got Martial and Force competing for that, you know, top striking position. Lath's in there as well. Coburn's about to go out on loan to Sheffield Wednesday, and that's why I think Haji Wright can maybe fill in a gap here. And then we look at another midfielder potentially on top of Flynn Downs to fill in that gap. So we'll see what comes of the next few bids. We are edging closer to the start of the season with only a few friendlies left. So Haji Wright, as I say, was offered to us. It was via an intermediary, and Coventry want 9.5 million with a deal that could rise to 10.7. I think that's ridiculous, if I'm honest. So it's fell through via the intermediary. That's not going to stop us from maybe going back in and making an offer, although it looks like the club are just flat out not wanting to. So that's a bit of a shame that it come via an intermediary, and possibly if we'd have gone in ourselves, it might have been a different story. But there is nothing that I think will allow us to try and recover this transfer. maybe we give it a few days and have another look. And Ipswich have made an offer to Tommy Smith. Now then, Granada have also made a £9 million offer for Haji Wright, which I don't think we're going to be able to match, so we're probably just going to ignore that. But Tommy Smith, now this is an interesting one because obviously right back is a position we've bolstered over the window, bringing in Nathan Ferguson and Anderson Arroyo, who can equally both play on either side. I think Anderson Arroyo more so is going to be the versatile player that can play left and right. Tommy Smith is 32. He's 32. He's got a year left on his contract. If there was ever a time for us to get some cash by selling Tommy Smith, the time is now. So I think it is more than sensible that we look at this, and I think we ride with it. And the transfer will eventually rise to 1.3. That's in the ballpark of what we'd want for him, and I think that's a very fair offer. I really do. So I think Tommy Smith might be off on his merry way for his final big move, his final big contract at Ipswich, and that might give us a little bit more room to manoeuvre in the transfer window. So another bid that's come in this time for Matt Clarke. He does want to leave by the sounds of it, and Stoke have made an offer for 400k. As I've mentioned, centre back, I think we're all right, to be fair. Rav's there, McNairs there. I think we might be all right to let him leave. It will rise to 500k, which is around his value. I think we will say, can we have 500k up front, and then the rest afterwards we'll negotiate that, and we might have Matt Clarke out the door as well. So a couple of outgoings starting to pop up now, but hopefully a lot of the incomings that we've got hanging, who feel like they've been hanging around for ages, Flynn Downs and Caicedo, hopefully they can make a decision on their loans pretty soon, and then we're probably going to look to sign the young lad from Chelsea as well. Well, that's a real shame. Caicedo has rejected the loan offer. He doesn't want to come to Middlesbrough. That's a real shame. Devastating, really. I really thought that could be a game changer, and someone who could come in and really transform the side. As it happens, it's not going to, so we have to turn our attention elsewhere, and I think we turn our attention to this kid, Faustino Angerin. I just have a weird feeling that he's going to rock up and not be as good as he seems, because it's just too good to be true, his current situation. But we'll make an offer. Let's not insult Chelsea. Let's just drop 150k and then see what they say. Right, okay. This is where I thought this might go. So 1.3 million fee, an additional 1.2 over 2 6-monthly instalments, and a 30% profit for the next sale. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's see what he says. I do feel like we might have a really good young player on our hands, and well, it's been leaked, so he's not interested either. You are kidding me. I don't believe it. I thought it would be a sure thing. He doesn't want to even have negotiations. That is, oh my god, that's two absolute kicks in the teeth. It got leaked, and that's probably where the interest from Saudis come from, and that's what's made him turn us down. Unbelievable. I can't believe it. Right, so we've been pied twice by two players from Chelsea. I think it's safe to say we need to stop shopping at Stamford Bridge. Well, it's blow after blow for us here. We've waited for a decision on Flynn Downs' loan for a while. He's rejected us as well. He's decided to go to Wolfsburg instead. I don't know why that is, if it's a wage thing or what, but we've went from looking like we were going to bring in numerous players like Caicedo, Flynn Downs on loan. We had Angerin lined up as well, and suddenly we've got neither of them. So we are very much back to square one in terms of midfielders, and we've had a real blow late on in the window with a few players there. So back to the drawing board, which is a real shame. So another player out the door, Tommy Smith, has agreed to leave the club and join Ipswich. The deal has risen to 1.3 million, and we've got just under half of that. 600k is going to be given to us, which is awesome. And well, Matt Clarke, who was on the brink of leaving, wow, has sustained a damaged spine. And we'll have him out between 5 to 6 months. That is heartbreaking. He's just had a really bad injury in real life as well. And even though he's not feeling too well, we've got to try and put our arm around him here and yeah, just try and make him feel a bit better, because he will feel terrible. He was just on the brink of signing for Stoke. That might not go through now, given that injury, because that sounds like a really, really serious one. And yeah, here's hoping he can recover and get back to full fitness sooner rather than later. So Josh Coburn, he's agreed a loan. He, in the end, opted to go to QPR over Sheffield Wednesday. Can't blame him, really. But it's something we should have done last season. We should have allowed Josh to go out on loan. He's pretty much missed a season of potential development there. So it's something I've wanted to do. And I'm glad that he's got himself out there on loan. So, yeah, that's a good deal for him. And hopefully he'll come back a better player and might be ready for the first team. So Blackburn have come back. We chucked in a £7.5 million deal. They've come back with 8.75 up front, which is most of our transfer budget, as well as an additional 6.5 million, which we simply couldn't afford. I mean, that's rising to almost £15 million, which is miles above the guy's transfer value. So we're going to drop that out of there and say you're being absolutely ridiculous there. And we will try and keep that 8.5 million. In fact, we'll go to 8.25 and see if we can maybe, drop in a clause of, when he's 26, maybe there is going to be a potential profit on his sale. Maybe we can sweeten them with 40%. Oh God, 11 million. They're having a laugh. They're having a laugh, surely. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. Oh, come on. 10.5? No, Blackburn. Just no. Stop it. Stop being cheapskates. Stop it. 45% sell-on fee. 1.2 million after 50 games. 8.75 million up front. No, they're not having it. They're not having it. That was someone I really thought could be the answer. And Blackburn are being stingy. So, yeah, the deal for Lewis Travis is another one that sadly isn't going to go ahead, and our search for a box-to-box ball-winning midfielder goes on even more. So after looking for specific midfielders that we want to play in that midfield three, we've really sort of grown to like them as our role, and there's just not enough players who are affordable. I feel like we can bring in who could do that. So Marcel Hartel looks like he is the man. He looks like he's a terrific signing. He's possibly playing in a league which, maybe he's too good for, playing in the second tier of German football with St. Pauli, who are fighting towards the top end of that league, to be fair. So they're almost fighting to get into the Bundesliga. And yeah, he's very good. He pretty much matches up in terms of stats with Hayden Hackney. And what we're going to do is we're looking at, with the 9 million that we've got, we want to get him in and a box-to-box midfielder or a defensive midfielder who's going to sit in front. And we keep looking for players, and we're not really getting anyone who's affordable. And we might just go back to tried and trusted Lewis O'Brien, who did fantastically well for us last season when he wasn't injured, and was pretty much guaranteed starter whenever he was in there, whenever he was sat in front of the midfield. So we might bring him in and sit him in front of the back four, and he can basically play the same role that he did last season. 3.8 million is what they're looking for. So yeah, if we get the deal through for Marcel Hartel, it'll give us at least $1 million spare to keep potentially if we need it in January or anything like that. And he is slightly interested, which is good, but we will have a little look to see what he wants. Yeah, we're in a bit of a problem with Matt Clarke. He come into our office basically kicking off, saying that he wanted to be sold because we've left him out of the registered championship squad, because it just for all of the life seemed like he was leaving for Stoke. Since then, he's then obviously got a severe spinal injury, and because of that, he's now failed his medical. the deal's been agreed for absolutely ages, and it's frustrating that he got injured in that time. He could have at least gone to Stoke and then got injured, but yeah, he's going to have to just sit in the reserves, I think. Thankfully, no one seems to be, agreeing with him. I think they understand that we've tried to find him a new deal, find him a new move, a new club, and he sadly, has got injured at possibly the worst time. So, yeah, unfortunately for him, we're going to have to probably just let him sit and sulk and recover from his injury and try and move him on once he's back. But, yeah, it certainly has been a miserable 12 months for Matt Clarke. So finally, a player who has agreed to join us and not turn us down for somebody else, Lewis O'Brien. It was never going to be in any doubt to see that he was going to join the club. And, yeah, he'll come straight in as the ball-winning midfielder as he was last season. We have also, though, put a loan offer in for Tommy Doyle from Manchester City. Only 10 grand a week we'd be paying, and that's his full wages, but he's another really, really exciting upcoming youngster who has done well out on loan in the Premier League in the past. So again, whether he'll step down the Championship, I don't know, but he can play in the deep line playmaker role, the Mazzala role. He can also play as a deep line playmaker, so he can play a little bit further back, or in the position that we're going to look to bring Marcel Hartel in as well, which will give him competition there as well. So yeah, hopefully Tommy Doyle might be joining us, but Lewis O'Brien is back at the Boro, and it's great to have him. Well, this could be a reason as to why Tommy Doyle might be a good idea to bring in as the Mazzala, because Marcel Hartel, his permit has been declined. We were warned about this, but it did say if the appeal fails, it says Middlesbrough have 4 ESC work permit slots out of the 4 available and have the option to allocate one which would allow him to play. But other than that, we have to appeal it or don't appeal. So, we have to make a decision now. I thought we could just use one of these ESC work permit slots and he'd be able to sign from there, but we will appeal it. And see what they say, but this could prevent him from signing, which would be, a bit of a shame. It does say there the work permit has now been granted. Oh no, but a decision will have to be made again in a week's time. So, yeah, it's going to cost us 20k every time we apply. So we're going to have to give this a certain number of tries and see if the work permit can get given to him. If not, then there is a little bit of hope that Tommy Doyle will then agree to sign with us. But as it starts, a lot of the loan deals have took weeks before the player has made a decision. And once again, Tommy Doyle is faced with Southampton, he's faced with Celtic, teams who have outbid us previously. And we just need to hope and pray that this time, unlike others, he's going to finally be one of the players who's going to choose to turn it and join us and not leave us hanging and turn us down like the other teams have. And just like that, guys, we are ready to go for the opening game in the Sky Bet Championship away to Watford, which of course we will bring you in the next episode. The only game that's not kicked off as yet. We must be the Sunday game they've picked for television, which is exciting. But a quick recap on where we're at currently and the players we've brought in over the course of the window. So of course we've just missed out on Gerald Hatto. Add that to the long list of players who we've missed out on. We are hoping Tommy Doyle will agree to join us, though, on loan. That's something that's in progress at the moment. Marcel Hartel, that's hanging on a work permit, which is looking a little bit unlikely at the moment. So if Tommy Doyle joins, we might be able to cancel that transfer and let it go and save some money. But this is what we've done thus far. So in terms of outgoings, of course, lots of players have went out on loan. Lots of players from last season as well. But in terms of players who we've signed, just before the start of July, we got Nathan Ferguson in from Crystal Palace on a free. Facundo Pellistri, I think, is an absolutely outstanding signing on loan from Manchester United. And then heading into technically this season beyond July, we've had a couple of young lads go out on loan. The biggest losses at Dael Fry, of course, who's gone to Leicester for 16.25 million. Tommy Smith has left for Ipswich, and Josh Coburn has gone on loan to QPR. So we've recouped 17.25 million and only spent 3.8 so far, on top of the players that, of course, we mentioned. Anderson Arroyo's come from Liverpool on a free. Anthony Martial, which is a ridiculous signing. I can't believe he agreed to sign for us. And then we've got a double from Forest with Scott McKenna and Lewis O'Brien. We'll see if we can bring in Doyle and Hartel, and we'll see who else might be knocking about. But that is it for this transfer special of our Project Boro career mode, and we'll be back in the next one to see how we kick off the season away at Watford. So if you've enjoyed this a little bit longer episode, of course a transfer special, then smash the like button. If you're excited for season 2 of Project Boro, subscribe for much more content, of course, here on the channel. Plenty more Football Manager content to come, as well as general football content. We also have a Road to Glory save that we've just started, as well as I'm the manager of Darlington in the National League North. If you want to see something a bit more Road to Glory-esque, which is a load of fun over there. Comment below your thoughts and any signing suggestions in the comment section below. And until next time, I hope to see you guys when the season kicks off at Vicarage Road in the next episode. Hope to see you then. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.